Hello and welcome to Side B and our book club style podcast where each month we take a book, movie, game, show, or other kind of media and talk about it with help from you, sometimes, the community. The one rule for anything we talk about here is it must be of monsters and mechs. Today's episode is about the last season of the Disney-era Power Rangers, the post-apocalyptic powerhouse of a children's sci-fi TV show, Power Rangers RPM. And with you are the usual suspects, me, the host, Billy, our co-host, Seth, and the guest host, Hunter. Alright?
I'm Hunter.
Yeah.
I'm Seth. Hey, how's it going?
I'm Billy.
Yeah.
As if they're listening, they already know who we're...
That's fair. If they're...
Or maybe this is our breakout episode.
It is.
This is the one.
So what's everyone's history with Power Ranger? Loosely tied to Kamen Rider, but not really. But
Right. For me, I watched it very loosely when I was growing up. If there was an episode that happened to be on, I would watch it. Mm-hmm. That was about it.
Oh man, I grew up with Power Rangers. I had all the Mighty Morphin videos. I watched Ninja Storm all the way through, SPD, Time Force, Power Rangers in Space, all the older ones I have seen to completion. I actually rewatched Wild Force not too long ago. It was pretty good. Some of the newer ones though, I haven't really been into. I haven't, just because I kind of grew out of it.
Like RPM.
Yeah, like RPM.
Did you catch RPM at all?
No, I didn't watch anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and then me. As far as I know and have been told, I've watched Power Rangers basically since the day I was born.
Okay.
I always remember my mom telling me the story of I would cry as a baby, and literally the only thing that would get me to stop crying is if she turned on Power Rangers, and basically have not stopped since.
Wow, so you were a nerd at birth.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I was, with who my parents were, I was destined. But, yeah, I've basically seen every single season of Power Rangers. Not 100% all the way through, but loosely. I've fallen out around, what was it? When Ninja Storm came out, I never watched much of it until it was on reruns. And then same thing happened with Operation Overdrive.
Mm-hmm.
Fell out. No, I'd say Time Force I didn't watch at all.
What?
Yeah.
I hate you.
Yeah,
okay.
same.
Time Force.
Yeah.
Time Force is amazing.
I've seen it since.
Oh, okay.
But I never watched it while it was airing.
Kind of redeemed.
Okay. But probably Lost Galaxies was my favorite as a kid.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
All right. So, but today we're talking about RPM. Came out 2009. Was the last was gonna be not even existed because Disney hates Power Rangers a lot. And then I think they were just about to buy Marvel, so they were we don't need another boys TV show, or not TV show, but we don't need a boys brand because they had their Disney princesses. Then they bought Power Rangers, hoping that was going to be their boys brand. Hated it 100%. We're gonna stop it at Jungle Fury, the season before this. But then a bunch of stuff happened. We'll get in a little bit later. But then they made RPM, and today's intro for the show is not stolen directly from Wikipedia. It's stolen,
I believe you,
directly from the intro of the actual show.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So,
sure.
A computer virus has built armies of robotic soldiers and taken control of our world, but there is still one place where we can be safe: the Dome City of Corinth. And the only hope we have left is Power Rangers
RP.
I was actually telling Hunter when I was watching that last episode, I was like, I think I've seen this twice because Netflix skips it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And just happened to skip it myself most other times. So I only saw the intro twice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But they do it every single episode.
Yep.
It's horrible. No,
I mean, it's 2 seconds.
Yeah, when you watch something every 20 minutes, it's awful.
No, it's supposed to be, hey, you haven't seen this show
in
a week. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. For some people, fun fact, Disney hated this show so much that it was stuck between because they had their anime boys action network of Jetix. I forget what cable channel it was. But then they changed it to Disney XD, which was supposed to be just action cartoons. So they're like, oh, Power Rangers has no place. And they're like, we already made the season. And you're like, I guess we'll put it on like ABC Kids at like 6 o'clock in the morning.
Nice.
When one, no kid is waking up then. And then for half of the country, a lot of sports games started on that same channel that took precedent over all other programming. So for half of the country, they never saw like half of the season.
Good guys, yeah. Disney.
So
you were saying like Disney hated it because it was the boys' show and they already had that covered?
No.
Okay.
They wanted a boys' show. And this was in 2000.
But they hated like the Power Rangers like franchise. I'm assuming like like every like the Power Rangers before they were like, God, I guess we're putting out another Power Rangers to get more money.
Like 2001, whenever Wild Force came out. Before it aired, but after Wild Force was made, Disney bought it and then had been doing it for 10 years close, with RPM being the last season.
Power Rangers has to pull in money though, right? Kids buy Power Ranger toys all the time.
Sometimes, but it's locked up in
Not that season.
It's locked up in so many deals with Bandai of America. Like, I don't know how much money they're specifically making.
Gotcha.
But like some of like the random facts I know, like after Wild Force was made, a bunch of people at Disney were like, what if we just take the Sentai footage and dub over? Because it'd be a lot cheaper to make. And everyone who was working on Power Rangers who fell in love with the show at the time were like, no, that's completely the opposite point of the show. All right. But we'll start with the characters. First off is the Red Ranger, Scott Truman's name.
Oh, I have a... Do you know the actor's name?
Yeah, Eka Darville.
Yeah, he plays one of my favorite characters in Jessica Jones, Malcolm.
He's played
fucking amazing show.
There were a couple other things that not as notable as his Jessica Jones character, but like he's played in a couple like major roles. And then the same with I forget her name, but the actress of the summer, the Yellow Ranger, she's a star on iZombie.
Oh, okay.
And then Tanaya, the actress for her, is in Rain.
Yep.
So
I think this is like, I don't know if anyone's keeping track of it, but this is probably the most out of the main cast of Rangers, they've had the most like breakout careers. But I think mostly because half the people in the world don't know that they were Power Rangers. But yeah. So what do you guys think of Scott, the Red Ranger?
I liked the story arc of I'm worse than my brother and also my brother's dead.
He just had like major daddy issues. Like that was like you say that like he felt inadequate as a leader. That wasn't it. It was just he just wanted his dad to say he loves him.
Yeah, I mean
that was it. That's
so
it.
But wasn't that awesome when they finally like connected?
No,
it
wasn't. It was. No. They didn't do the scene well. I'm sorry. They did the scene beforehand well, where his dad was like, "Here's a token medal," and he was like, "Nah, fuck it."
Yeah,
but the one where they like actually at the end, and he's like, "Yeah, here's we're gonna offer you a position here," and blah blah blah. I was like, "That sure, obviously he has to do that." It doesn't feel like they really pulled that through.
I mean, they already completed their story in that episode.
With his like military background, I felt like he was one of the most competent Red Rangers that I've seen. Like because like he like fit the like I'm going to be the leader and like that's what I do. Like way better than any of the other Red Rangers that like because like with the Red Ranger arc in most stories is like they're struggling with like leading the team and making the right choices and all that, and I didn't
in some seasons
I didn't feel like that was a bother for him.
Yeah, other than like the one time it's like you're the leader, you have to do it, and he's like, damn it, you're right. You don't want to make calls all the time. That's a go-to leader.
That's a part of
issue.
Being
nah. Also, last two episodes, I started going into that. That's a part of being human, like humans versus machines.
Yeah.
In theory, it was there the whole time, but they never, ever talked about it.
Well, I mean, what do you mean? They talked about it enough.
Technically, we're fighting robots. They mentioned that, but like they weren't like, it's better to be a human because this, until like the last episode that came out.
That's all of Dylan's arc. All 32 episodes were Dylan, kind of the main character, being, I don't want to be a robot because humans being better. And then him
I don't want to be a slave to vengeance.
Yeah, that's part of that, but like also like how he connected to like all the different characters. Like
I don't.
This is for audiences. This is for audiences. Backstory for us. I love this season. Apparently, they fucking hate it for no reason at all.
I fucking hate it.
I'm not a Power Rangers person. The rest of it's fine.
We skipped over the segment where we talked about our general ideas, but.
Oh yeah, I fucking hate it. There we go. Easy peasy.
That's. I mean, there's a little more to it than that.
Not really.
They did a good job with the story itself, but I'm not a huge Power Rangers person.
They're like, as a person who loved Power Rangers, like as a kid, like I grew up with Power Rangers, like that, like the nostalgia factor didn't even hit me. It was that bad.
What? Yeah, it's not gonna hit you because it's a different show. It's RPM.
Okay,
so
but like I was watching, like I said, after this I had to like cleanse my palate and watch a better Power Rangers. So I was like, let's go Mystic Force. It can't be worse than RPM, and it wasn't.
It is
because you say that it was worse than RPM. Okay, that's fine, but it hit a bigger nostalgia factor for me. It felt much better than RPM.
I mean, okay, then you can't compare them.
Yes, I can. They're both Power Rangers.
You kind of can.
They're both.
But you're not looking at them with the same critical eye.
Yes, I am.
You literally just said it had more of a nostalgia factor.
Well, yeah, that's something. When I watch Power Rangers, I'm like, I want this to feel like Power Rangers, and this one fell off the entire time I was watching it. I can't describe it. It just didn't seem like the Power Rangers I knew and loved.
I mean, I was gonna say that I've not seen anyone or like in the Power Rangers community say they don't like RPM.
That's fine.
The only criticisms I've ever seen are it didn't feel like a Power Rangers show, which I don't know. I don't 100% agree with, but I could see where people are coming from. But like, I don't know.
It's really funny that the reasons I dislike it is it's too much Power Rangers. Mm-hmm. And the reason that you dislike it is it's not Power Rangers enough.
Yep.
I love it because of those exact reasons. Like, it just, for me, it does, like, not everything I want out of a Power Rangers. It just had done something no one's ever seen out of a Power Rangers season. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's because I'm so deep into all of it that I can see
it for what it was.
Or, I mean, maybe, like, I think in general I have, like, this problem, like, with most media of, like,
going against the grain.
That's definitely not what's happening here.
Of, knowing, like, the creator's intentions and having those affect my thoughts a lot more than most people would when they just judge the final product. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like that's 100% happening here.
No, because you even told us, like, before, you said that the Super Sentai footage that they got was like super ridiculous and super over the top, and they were trying to make this kind of more serious like Power Rangers. I went in with that, and it still fell short.
I mean, that's not 100% it, because rewatching it again, they had a lot of goofy moments, a lot of goofy Power Ranger moments,
yeah,
and like not even just of the Sentai footage. Mm-hmm. Like that didn't have much of the goofiness in it.
Did they make Ziggy a giant joke because of his Sentai footage was all a joke?
You've got to have comic relief. Every Power Rangers has one.
Well, yeah.
It has the weird, like, ha ha ha, jokey, ha ha ha, I'm jokey kind of guy.
But, like, Ziggy was rapey, ha ha ha, I'm rapey.
Parts.
That's
true.
Yes. That's very true.
Those bits of his character were very problematic.
Yeah, like... We can mind control all the ladies in town. No.
Don't wake up all
that only popped up, like, at the last, like, 5 episodes. I have
the when all the guys were asleep?
Yeah, that was in, like, the last, like, chunk of the episodes. I don't know why they got that pervy with him.
Like, it was weird. He was still kind of trying to get ladies the whole time, but they didn't push it that far.
Like, all it was, like, I remember him saying, oh, make sure to always pose cool, because that's what ladies like. But then it got to the point of, what if we mind control? But, we'll skip to Ziggy of the Rangers. Like, outside of being possibly rapey and jokey, what'd you guys think of him?
I liked his backstory.
Yes.
Like, affiliated with the mob, that's cool as shit.
I mean, all of these people's backstories are fucking nuts.
Well...
They all had an episode devoted to their backstory, and every episode was justified. Mm-hmm. Not a single one was like, they could have skipped this. It didn't matter.
I mean, I also kind of didn't like that. Like, I hated that they did it all in, like, one block. Like, they were, like, first it was Dr. K, and then they just went through with, like, all the Rangers. Or first, it might have been Red Ranger first.
I think it was...
Black?
I think green, red, blue, yellow, Dr. K.
But they just had a block of episodes that was, hey, we're just gonna... jizz exposition all over your faces.
Well, they did it in an alright way.
I was not a fan of it.
I guess. I mean,
wasn't gone ahead.
Or it was just, the first 5 episodes are like one continuous story, not introducing us to the very beginning of all of their stories, but the beginning of like this Power Rangers team. Yeah, the situation. So everything else was the backstory. I think it would have felt extra lopsided if it wasn't, not lopsided, but just extra weird if they had put those flashback scenes into like every single episode. And all of the episodes were still, like half of them were flashback, the other half was current problem that they're dealing with. It just happens to be related, and that's what's bringing on all of their flashbacks.
I will say something that annoyed me in all of that. They made every single person on the episode that they had
freeze and just
that okay. Too a little bit. I was gonna say like seem overpowered, seem like they were stronger than everyone else in that episode. Like the rest of the team gets their ass kicked, and then whoever's episode it is comes in and like saves the day big time.
I guess, but they also had problems that dealt in both their strengths and weakness. A little, like I could see where like how all of it could be justified to where they would be, even if it wasn't their episode or their flashback episode, they still would have been the ones to jump in and save the day because that's where their skill set lies.
Maybe like Yellow Ranger, for instance, she fought off Tenaya 7 in a dress while everyone else like. In a wedding dress, while everyone else got their ass kicked.
But she had the art of surprise.
Still,
that lasts for like 2 seconds. The rest of the fight was like, all right, well, it's because it's her episode.
It's been a little bit since I've seen that episode, so I can't like pick apart like the exact things. But like, I don't know, and maybe it is just like this is my favorite season and has been for a while. That like. Not that I can't see the flaws, because like there's definite flaws in the show that I 100% see, but like I don't know, I see so much of the good that I think the flaws are just at the end of the day they're Power Ranger things, and that's about it. And so it's just like
I mean, like, it is minor for sure.
To me, it's a good show with Power Ranger faults, but it's called Power Ranger, so I'm okay with those Power Ranger faults. But like,
I'm shaking my head if you guys need to know.
All right, so I mean.
Yeah, I was looking at Billy. I had no idea. Thanks, Hunter.
But something else about Ziggy. And the Sentai footage is, as far as I know, I haven't seen much, or I've seen like a couple episodes of Go Onger, the season it was based on. Most of their characters act pretty much the same. It's just in a 100% different setting.
Okay.
So, or like their personality. So, I mean, that's how it usually acts, so like they don't have such a drastic change between the human character and the suit character. But it's cool that like Ziggy was the only one not trained in any kind of combat, and like if you pay close attention, he slowly builds up like some kind of ability to fight. But like it's never I just know karate now. Like he's still at the very last fight, he's still jumping on cars and like just picking up random objects and like whirling it around, and sometimes it works.
I liked the I want to say it was episode 30 where he and Dr. K get trapped in the cave or whatever, and Dr. K's like, you have a weapon, use that, because she wanted to have the pole to knock people away, and he's like, I need this thing because I don't fuck it, I don't know how to use the axe, it's just there.
Another thing, the shadow puppets. Like I understand it's ridiculous, but I love that they like brought it back to like it was like an actual character trait, not just like a joke, which
would have been a good joke too.
They do. I mean, the Power Rangers does that a lot in general, where there's just like kind of a joke, but then the fandom picks it up as a character trait. But like this is one of the first times it's been like an actual thing where instead of just one character saying, oh, isn't that funny? I can do shadow puppets one time. He actually uses it to like distract robots, and then that's how Dr. K possibly falls in love with him, and then everything else. And then something else Dr. K said in the Yellow Ranger episode, they were like, where do you come from? And she just told him her whole backstory. And you're like, that's a little bit ridiculous. It's a joke, right? And then the next episode, it's like, no, that was 100% true. She has no humorous bone in her body.
Yeah.
But, Blue Ranger, Flynn, what'd you guys think of him?
I loved his voice.
There was, I don't know why it bothered me so much. I went back to listen to it like 3 times, and it was in the Megazord, which is why I probably listened to it 3 times. He said one line in the entire series that wasn't in a Scottish accent.
Okay.
And I was like,
that,
what? Did he fuck the... And I went back over and over, and I was like, damn it. And I just went on.
Okay.
It was like 3 words. I was like, I understand why.
He also there's nothing in his backstory that showed that he was trained in any martial art. He was just big. Like he was he was the strong guy. He was just I'm just strong. I'm gonna take all these people and throw them.
That's also how he fought.
He did have his Braveheart moment. We don't know how long he was in that whatever jungle.
That's fair. Now he was a fucking brute in the suit though, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just he did that a lot where he just like grabs a bunch of grinders and then just pushes them
up. I was like, I got these 6.
Like I don't know if they had different kinds of powers in the Sentai footage, but that makes me think the Sentai Blue Ranger had like super strength or something, but they didn't know how to translate that, so they gave him his like the one-time use freeze everything and punch of stuff. So we did red, blue. We kind of did yellow. Any more we want to talk about Summer?
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
Fucking her backstory episode.
Yeah.
She missed a perfectly good line when her parents were like, "When did you fucking start taking care of yourself? You're a blah whatever her last name is." And then she just like goes through a flashback, gives him a dirty look, and then like walks away.
Yeah.
She should have been like, "When I had to," and would have fucking like hyped. It would have been hype as fuck.
I mean, she basically said that.
She didn't though, and it would have been good.
Talking about one-liners.
Yeah.
I love the moment when Ziggy finally becomes a Power Ranger. Or, like, he's been a couple episodes, he's been a Power Ranger, and he's trying to work on his one-liners. Yeah. And that's the whole subplot of the episode, of him working on one-liners, that everyone else, they're already the action hero archetype, so they already have it done.
It was alright, never mind. I was going to bitch about Ziggy on that specific episode, but it's fine.
Summer was hot.
Okay.
That's about what I took away from it.
I think, yeah, all of the Rangers are...
Autumn, fall.
I hate you.
Summer's a really warm time of the year, you know? Like,
okay, now I got it.
Yeah.
I thought I missed something.
Wow.
And I didn't think that's the joke you were making.
We're going to start calling you Drax the Destroyer.
Then you explained it. And I was like,
if there was a winter character, it would have been Dr. K. Her name could have been Winter. Would have liked that. Would have been great.
No. But yeah, I'm pretty sure all of the Rangers are New Zealand. They just put on a bunch of accents. And like, one of the things when the guy who played Flynn was auditioning, he came in to read for the Red and Black Ranger, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then, because he specifically said he didn't want to be the Blue Ranger because he'd seen the Sentai footage, and the Blue Ranger in that season apparently had no personality. He's like, I don't want to play a guy with no personality.
Sure.
So he read for Red and Blue. They're like, you're not good enough. And then someone called him and said, come back with an accent for Blue Ranger. He's like, any accent at all? They're like, any. So he tried a Scottish one, and they're like, that's his character. That's his personality. He's Scottish.
I mean, I loved it. It was amazing.
Was it the fucking flashback episode where they're talking about everyone's like quirks and whatnot? Mm-hmm. Not flashback. Whatever, but they were talking about everyone's quirks and they're going through it, and he's like, and I'm Scottish.
Yeah.
The first time I watched it, like, I don't know. I was sure that, like, the video I was watching skipped. Because, like, the way he said it 100% sounded like he was immediately going to follow it up with bitch. He's like, I'm Scottish, bitch. You obviously can't do that in Power Rangers, but, like, man, it felt like he was about to. Where is it? Another auditioning thing, the only actor name I've written down here, Eka Darville, or Scott the Red Ranger.
Okay.
He auditioned for the Red Ranger in Jungle Fury. They said, sorry, you don't have the part. Then, basically how it always worked, like most of them, the Blue Ranger had auditioned for, I think, since Wild Force.
Oh, shit.
He'd been trying to get onto Power Rangers.
Damn.
Yeah. And then Red Ranger did. Tanaya also auditioned for a couple seasons. Mm-hmm. And then I think that's it that I remember reading who auditioned for previous seasons. But Darville had, he auditioned for Jungle Fury, came back for RPM. The only difference he did in like just like how he presented himself during the audition was he wore a red tank top and he got the part.
Nice.
That's all that matters, you know?
Just gotta get the color palette down.
Oh, this guy looks good in red. Mm-hmm. Red Ranger, check.
Another fun fact: the Blue Rangers actor, Green Ranger, and Dr. K all starred in a like an independent film called Blood Punch. Oh, Didn't see what it was, but like they've all been, and this was after RPM. But another thing about Ziggy and Dr. K's actors, 2012 they got married.
Huh.
Wow.
2016 they got divorced.
Oh.
Oh, she'd done this a few years back and would have been a good story.
Alright, but of the Rangers we have left, we didn't talk about Dylan much, the Black Ranger.
He was the moody, angsty archetype.
Out of all the Rangers, he had the biggest role in backstory, and he was my least favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was
I love all these characters.
he was just so flat.
He's such a fucking idiot.
He's
Every
half a robot.
fucking time. No, he's not. Shut the fuck up. He every time something happens, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna drive outside the city on my own." It happened 50 times. In 32 episodes, it happened 50 times.
Okay.
I'm just gotta counter.
Every single time. He didn't even say the music box. He played it back. He played the other one, and it was the Farmer in the Dell. And he's like, "Oh, I'm going out."
Well, no, that moment, because he knew exactly who his sister was at that point.
That one made sense.
I understand, but still, he had done it 20,000 times before this.
He's done an infinite amount of times.
I came in when you were watching Power Rangers 2 weeks ago. You had your little notebook out. You wrote down 50, and you're like, I think this is the last time he does it. And I was amazed. 50 even? 200,000 is a stretch.
No, it's not.
No, it all makes sense for his character. Because he has no memory.
Okay.
The only semblance of a memory he has is he let someone down.
Yeah.
And he's now one of the protectors of the last remaining humans of the Earth. I think that weighs on him a lot more than he shows, because that's the type of character he is.
I think you're thinking way too much about this.
I'm not.
Yeah, you
it's
are.
It's all there.
No, it's not. It's Power Rangers. Nothing's there. It's all superficial.
I fucking hate.
No, I will say, he wasn't going to do the Power Ranger thing, though. He was just going to leave, and they were like, I bet you can't. And it was like, whoa, fuck you, I can do what I want.
Well, that's at the first time. And then by the end of it, after he learns Tanaya is his sister, and then he finally gets connected with the team, and this is episode 29 or 30 or something, he does the same thing. He leaves because the pressure's too much. He doesn't want to let everyone down, because as far as he's concerned, that's the only thing he's ever done in life.
See, this is a kid's show,
but
kids aren't thinking about it like this.
It doesn't matter.
Kids are going, why the fuck did he leave for the 50,000th time?
Hunter,
50.
I told you.
We've been
Before
over
we start, don't make me fight you. That's
what kids are thinking. I was a kid once.
This is why I love this season so much, because it call it Power Rangers too much, call it not Power Rangers too much. It actually tells a story, and
everyone tells a story,
but the layered and complex story that it tells.
You said you didn't watch Time Force?
I'm not saying
Time Force is a layered and complex story, and it's done better.
Hunter, when did I ever say this is... I said this is my favorite. I like it better than Time Force personally, but I never said that Power Rangers has never done this.
I know.
When Power Rangers does this, it's when it shines. When the same thing that happens with Ziggy throughout this 32 episodes is the same thing that happened with Billy in the 160 episodes he had in the first 3 seasons, where he was the goofy fighter until he hit season 3, when he was 100% as competent as the rest of the fighters. Power Rangers has this weird thing of just the very little character moments are so huge. And so when the last time Dylan runs out, because that's what he's always done, Ziggy comes and there's no fight. It's Ziggy says, "Oh, I'm gonna fight you," and then plays a joke, and then Dylan laughs and says, "Now I remember there are people who care about me. There's people who..." He doesn't say this, but that's what...
He doesn't say it.
That's the character motivation. A show... no entertainment needs to say this, and that's why...
Billy's right on this one. In real life, when there's the moments that you're making small turns, it's not always giant monumental moments that make you change or think or remember stuff. It doesn't always have to be said.
Okay.
In this case, the Ziggy Black Ranger thing, I agree with Billy. Yes, there's more to it.
I like that Ziggy always got in his car. I like that about them.
Well, they were close buddies the whole way through.
Kind of.
Ziggy was Dylan's best friend.
Ziggy's a leech. Well, a good one.
Yeah.
High quality leech.
But and there's some stuff with Dr. K that's the same kind of thing, where if you think it's just a kid's show, there's no layers to it. You think, okay, these characters are just doing things, but like if you put it together, it makes so much fucking sense.
See, I didn't look at it with an as big of an analytical eye as you did.
Okay,
so
like,
I'm not looking into the Matrix and making these connections. I'm looking at it and like I'm like, this is not how I think that it would, and it doesn't like go together right. It's like puzzle pieces that don't fit right. Like they're supposed to go there, don't worry, but they don't really fit right.
Exact opposite idea I have for this show. I was even like in my head using the exact analogy of perfect puzzle pieces fitting together.
No,
I think Hunter, you have all of the right pieces there. They're just you just haven't fit them in the right places.
And
yet.
I will never rewatch it to put them in there.
You should.
I should not.
Like 5 years from now, after we could get through some of the schlock,
I'm gonna sit down and be like,
and Mechs.
I think I'm gonna rewatch RPM, and then go, nah, let's watch Time Force.
Before we get into the Rangers, I want to. We've touched on these ideas before, but like the backstory of this show, it was going to be canceled. Then a writer he did Kim Possible and Jake Long American Dragon.
Good shows.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if he was a big fan of Power Rangers or was just like, I can do something with this, but this was the first and only show he'd written for Power Rangers. Mm-hmm. But he came in and talked to Disney. He was like, hey, I want to do this one last show, or let me do this one last Power Rangers show. Gave him the pitch, and it was he said specifically Mad Max, Terminator style, post-apocalyptic, but with Power Rangers.
Yeah.
And then there's a whole thing about him freaking out when he realized the season he had to adapt was one of the goofiest in like 20 years.
Right.
Mm.
But he later on, halfway through the season, he was kicked out, which I think I have another fun fact, if you want to call it a writer getting fired. Fun. But years later, he did a Q&A on some Power Ranger fan boards and just like answered a ton of questions. And so these are like 3 quotes that I pulled that like tell me this guy gets it. So like the first one was specifically about like Mad Max and Terminator. He said, even if you've never seen The Road Warrior, which if you guys don't know is the first Mad Max movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't know how much you know about that, but he said, the image of a mysterious badass dude in all black roaming a vast wasteland is going to have some kind of strong impact on you because it's an iconic universal image. It speaks to us all on some base elemental level, which is kind of the first like present day scene we see in this is Dylan, badass dude, black suit, muscle car driving through the desert. And then he also said, for better or worse, I decided that I wanted to do something that would reach out of the screen and slap viewers across the face.
My face felt fine the whole time.
I mean, it sounds like it wasn't. He said for better or worse. I think for you it was worse.
I just don't feel slapped.
This is him specifically talking about how he wanted to like change the Power Rangers formula.
Oh.
And then there's another thing.
Could have changed like something different.
There's another quote that it hits me. This guy knows what's up.
Does it reach out and slap you in the face?
Touches me in the heart.
Aww.
He said, talking about previous seasons and like the producers and writers of the show, he said, it can be very easy to get lost in the spectacle, or the desire to sell toys, or the need to use footage, and forget that all of those things that should really only exist to develop the characters and serve the story. If not, the show is lost.
Yeah, he did that really well.
Mm-hmm.
Developing the characters and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then
I'll give him that. There was character development. As much as I didn't like the show, the characters were developed.
Okay. But he wrote like let me find the fact. He wrote half the season. Yeah. Executive producer Eddie Gazillion was fired over disagreements he had with Disney midway through production on the series. Disney disliked his plans he had for the ending of the series, contrary to rumors saying that it was fired over going over budget. But they then hired Judd Lynn to finish out the series, which, if you know much about Power Rangers, Judd Lynn is one of the biggest Power Rangers producers.
Okay.
I think he produced one of the first season.
Oh,
a lot of seasons since. But they came back to let him finish, and then one of his plans was hoping RPM would do well enough that someone would want to make a sequel series, and that's why at the very end they show the flashing light
Gotcha.
which is the only cliffhanger Power Rangers has ever done in like an actual season finale like this. That didn't have like a continuation like the first seasons of, or first 5 seasons of Power Rangers. Another thing about Dylan and the ending that they were talking about, when Disney didn't like the ending, which I don't know how I would have felt if this was the ending they went with.
I was going to ask if you knew what it was. So that's good.
The rumor is, no one knows what it is, but they had every single episode, or all of those flashback episodes or focus episodes being Ranger Red, Ranger Green, all of those, and they never had a Ranger Black. Now it's, we already saw all of Dylan's past because...
It's now.
His past was the 5 seconds we saw him driving around in the desert. Eddie Gazillion's original plan was that wasn't his past. It was that the end of the season, all of the Rangers together would defeat Vengex. Then learn that the whole entire time Dylan was a sleeper agent for Vengex. And the Rangers beating Vengex
kills Dylan.
Then Vengex taking over Dylan's body was his ultimate plan.
That would have been so much better.
And like Tanaya 7 was absolutely just a robot to make look like a human to then fool Dylan into thinking he was also human. But it was Dylan was his ultimate body.
That would have been amazing.
And that's why in I forget which episode it was, but when they go out into the desert, that's why those memories are false. That's what it was supposed to be alluding to, that all of his memories are false.
That would have been really cool, actually, yeah.
But then at the end... I
don't like the idea of Power Rangers ending with, the bad guy winning.
Well, no, it wouldn't have ended...
They would have killed Dylan. Or beat Dylan.
I think the direction, or the point where Disney said, absolutely not, was the true ending of the show.
Is kill
the last
Dylan?
Episode. All the other Rangers, have to kill Dylan, the last Vengex host.
That would have been amazing.
I don't know how anyone would have ever felt about Rangers killing Rangers.
They're not...
Seems fine.
He's a robot. Which would have brought up a whole bunch of other questions about how he can manipulate the biofield to actually morph.
Who knows? Like, I mean,
Vengex eventually had access to the biofield bullshit.
I think he had control over it. He didn't connect to it. Like, and if these are mostly just like rumors, so we don't know how much of a human he was or whatever. So he still could have been human. And Dr. K made Vengex and the Ranger program at the same time. So that 100% could have made sense that he already knew how that worked.
Yeah.
So he knew you had to have a human to be a part of it. Another thing kind of related to that was this is a season set completely into an alternate universe of Power Rangers where they've not come out right out, or they eventually came right out and said it's an alternate universe, but they've never said specifically if there's other Ranger teams that existed in this universe.
Okay.
But most people think that there wasn't because they call, or the biofield, it's just the morphing grid.
Yeah.
In every other Power Ranger season, they get their powers from usually some spiritual being mixing with the morphing grid and then giving them the ability to morph and like all that other stuff. And that's canonically why all of the suits are kind of similar. That's why they're all the same colors. It's because it's all based on this.
Sure.
But this was the first season to give an actual explanation of exactly what the morphing grid was.
I didn't like it.
But they called it the biofield.
I didn't like anything about the biofield.
What didn't you like about it?
It sounded so fake and so forced.
And the morphing grid sounds better.
I mean, so like this was a very cause there was a time when cause it was a very goofy Super Sentai. They were like, why does it have eyes? And she's like, this is why it has eyes, and this is why this and this. I feel like they were trying too hard to justify everything. It's like I think they went midichlorians with it.
I mean, that's what the biofield and morphing grid are. It's just technological version of the Force.
Yeah, but they in previous Power Rangers, they don't go that in depth about how it all works.
Operation Overdrive, they kind of did. Like, if you've seen the crossover episode of Operation Overdrive, you'll 100% excuse the RPM biofield everything.
Then I won't watch it.
I mean, okay.
I don't feel like they over explained the biofield. They didn't. right?
And like why was it that like she had to re-energize the biofield for them to remorph again?
Well, because it was all based on those batteries. That was the engine cells.
Yeah.
It was all based on those batteries. That's how they got their powers. Like, I mean, they didn't
Then when did the batteries run out?
What?
When they used their powers more?
Yeah.
And then like a few minutes, like not in like actual like in footage time, it'd be like 5 minutes and they'd be able to morph again. Like it doesn't make sense.
I mean, it's not because they're using Sentai footage, and sometimes they have to just like skip over that bit.
Mm-hmm.
But like most of the time, it seemed like if they used like their big moves, or if they used the Zords, that's when they'd have a rest time.
Yeah.
So like there'd be some times in the beginning where they would fight, and then they would just be back at the base, even though the monster's still like kind of hanging out. You could theorize that that's them coming back to
charge.
Yeah. And like then what was it, the flashback episode, but with Ziggy and Dr. K getting stuck in there. They I don't think they specifically said it's because he used his teleportation powers.
It was,
but
he demorphed, and she can't re-energize the morpher for him to morph back again.
Yeah, but like I think it drained his battery, or using his teleportation powers drained his battery enough where that was the problem. Then he didn't have enough energy to kick back up again. Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I still think you're looking too far into it.
I actively, because that episode made it seem a lot like Dr. K's main job, while she was always typing madly at the computer, like no matter what the fuck was going on, she's...
Yeah. Well, sometimes.
I'm glad I accidentally hit my mic there. That was a good time to do it. But she was just wildly hitting the computer. I think her job there was to figure out how to put their energy into the battery that is the morpher, kind of like using them as an alternator for a car. That's how I took it.
Okay.
I don't know if that's actually what it is, but that's how I ended up taking it.
I don't know if anyone's like put that together, but like specifically car based, I think that makes perfect sense.
There was
like,
a lot of like, I feel like, because like what was this? No, damn
no,
it. Blue Ranger, Flint.
Yeah.
I think that because he made with help from Gemma made the Road Tech Zord.
Yeah,
and like
I don't like it, but
that was dope as fuck.
I don't like that he made that so well. Sure, he had help from Gemma. I don't like that he made that so well and then was never included on other projects.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he pulled through hardcore.
Yeah.
How much money would you pay for his 3-second car wash?
Like, he was a genius, and I think the most underrated character in the whole show.
Mm-hmm. But like that was his whole thing.
He was a not so simple mechanic.
Yeah, or well, also that episode, like I like that. Another thing we can talk about Jim and Gemma now, but them, that's another thing of like slow character development where at the beginning they're always finishing each other's sentences, but by the end they do it much less because they start becoming
separate people,
and then that episode was one of the biggest ones where they do Gemma and Flynn,
and not Jim and
but
Gemma.
Then at the end of the episode, like Flynn basically asks Gemma on a date.
Yeah, the nerd date.
Yeah, but then Jim comes over, and it's not like a protective older brother.
It's
like,
jealousy.
Yeah, it's jealousy. Like, no, she's mine. Like, really weird. And I don't know if I want to read into that subtext.
It was canonized that they're siblings, right?
Yeah,
because they were because they were an alphabet soup together.
Mm-hmm. They're fraternal twins or whatever. But we can talk about them and Dr. K, which there's a bit that I was telling you guys before. I was watching this guy who his name is Disney Brain, or his channel's Disney Brain.
Where he talks his real name.
It might be, but he talks about Disney shows and in turn Power Rangers, because for most of it up until a point it was a Disney show. But he was talking about why Dr. K always calls them Ranger operators and never their name. And it's only until Jim and Gemma come back where she like truly like connects with them. And he was saying that it's because she specifically caused her only and best friends to as far as she knew, die.
Yeah.
And then so she didn't want to get connected to anyone like that again. And then that moment when they're finally rejoined and the little tear comes down her eye. Did you miss that part?
No.
Because that hit.
No, I didn't. That part you didn't read it like too much into at all. Like I caught that from I caught all that you just said just from watching it. So that was something that they did very well. The chemistry between Gemma and Dr. K. How'd she get her PhDs if she didn't even go to college?
I don't think she's an actual doctor.
I'm sure they're like, oh, you created the Power Rangers? Let me see your doctorate.
Also, and then another one of the side characters I wanted to talk about was Colonel Truman. But the scene with Colonel Truman, Scott's dad, and Dr. K, when he finally figures out that she's the creator of Injex and they're in his, whatever. God damn it.
They're in his command center.
Yeah. And then he's got the gun pointed to her, and, like, that whole thing, like, that whole speech of, like, if I could warp the space-time continuum. So, like, the way she said it made it seem like she's already fucking tried doing that. And, like, she would 100% go back in time and redo it all. And that, like, him going back from him, the gun, Dr. K, and then the burned up picture of his son. That was a good scene. That was a good moment. There's a lot of other... while I look for more facts, what do you guys think of Colonel Truman?
The scene you were just talking about, where they... I guess that episode, I should say. I think it was stupid of Dr. K to have not told him from the get-go the full story of what happened for Vengeance.
Yeah, but she didn't tell anyone. That's why she was hiding in the first place. Like, part of the reason why she was hiding. 1, to not get connected. 2, to, if she did get connected, she's not gonna be found out. And then that's why she wanted everything to be burned, because she still just didn't want people to find out.
Yeah, but I mean, it would have been better if they had known.
I guess. But, I mean, maybe not. They probably would have just arrested her and not known of her as a person and someone to help the squad of Rangers. Yeah.
I mean, I liked General Truman. He was a bad dad. I liked that flaw.
He was a military colonel in an apocalypse.
Yeah.
There's no time to be a dad.
Yeah. It was a good he was a good character.
There's some scenes where Scott, when, like, he's just randomly or just talking, and then something happens and it's just like clicks back into, I'm a disappointing son, and he just yells, "But Dad."
No.
I mean, you don't have to like it, but I think those were good.
I'm doing it for the podcast. I'm letting you know I'm disagreeing with your opinion. I'm allowed to have a differing opinion, Billy.
Yeah, so can I.
Okay,
I said my opinion, and then you said no.
Yeah.
You didn't say, I felt differently about that.
But you got it.
All right.
Like Power Rangers, I shouldn't just have to come out and say it.
Sure, yep. Another fun fact. It was not revealed on screen, but the acronym RPM stood for Racing Performance Machines.
Damn it.
No, it's revolutions per minute.
Well, that's what it's supposed to mean, like, in real world, but it also means the RPM Rangers are Racing Performance Machinery. Which...
They're all machines! Created by Dr. K!
Alright, another fun fact.
Okay.
So far, this is the only season to directly mention their Sentai counterpart, in this case, Go-Onger. This is also the first season to use and state it as part of their arsenal. They're the same thing. Like, I don't know why they have to specify.
Yeah.
But yeah, the van was just named Go-Onger, which me and Seth talked a little bit about it, but, like, I have no idea why they did that bit. I'm okay with it, because I thought it was, like, some kind of cool reference, but it could also just be they were really cheap that day on Sentai footage and just didn't want to mess with, why is there a van there? Oh, another fun fact, I didn't write down about it, but the actors hated filming in like, all the desert scenes were filmed in a real desert.
Yeah.
And specifically those scenes when they're in the van and they're all wearing their jackets. All of the cast was like, please let us take off our jackets. And they're like, no, it'll ruin the shot.
Would it?
Damn.
Would that not make perfect sense for in a goddamn desert?
No, it'll ruin the shot. Also, I really, really want Dylan's jacket, and I found it online last night.
What?
How much?
Like $160.
That's
it's like,
worth it.
It's a bootleg version, but, like, it looks good. I don't know if it's an actual good leather jacket.
Just do it. Impulse buy.
I might.
Treat
No.
yourself.
That is
Treat
so
yourself.
much for a goddamn, like...
For nostalgia? Yeah.
You would be
Nothing.
afraid to get that thing dirty, so you'd never wear it. It would just hang in the
no.
closet constantly.
The more dirty I got it, the more screen accurate it would be.
Exactly. So you don't wear it everywhere.
Another thing about the Sentai, the Sentai counterpart never used the wheels on their arms as weapons.
Oh, that was like one of the coolest parts.
Mm-hmm. Until Kaizuko Sentai Gokaiger, the 35th season, which Gokaiger was the 32nd season, I think.
Mhm.
Okay.
So, one of the things in Gokaiger is it's a team of pirates who basically steal all of the other Rangers' powers.
Okay.
And so the Go Onger centric episode was where they steal their powers and then can transform into them.
Uh-huh.
The Go Onger episode specific one, they turn into it, and then I think it's the Yellow Ranger goes up to one of the enemies, punches them like they do, and then revs up the tires like that, and then looks at it and it's like, huh, that's a pretty cool move. And it's 100% just like a, hey, Power Rangers, you thought of a cool thing, we're gonna take it now. It's like complete reverse of like how the situation's always worked. I think, we'll talk about Tenai 7 and Vinjex and like all the villains real quick if we want to.
Do we want to start with Tenai 7?
Yeah, sure.
I thought she was the most sane person in the whole show.
The whole show.
The whole show. She was just like, why do you robots look fucking stupid?
But no,
like,
everyone
that's what
says
everyone's thinking, Tanaya.
But everyone says that. They have the whole, like, she has the whole...
But she says it with, like, every single one. She's like, it looks... Like, some of them are like, oh, it looks scary. And she's like, no, it looks fucking stupid.
When did they ever say it looks scary?
I don't remember.
Okay, the only time I remember them saying it looked scary was fucking hilarious. It was the robot that had the mirror. They're like, oh, it's horrifying. And they're looking at a reflection of themselves.
But that was the villains, who they're stupid robots.
That was great. It was a perfect bit to include.
No, but they have that whole bit where Dr. K is sitting down with the Rangers once she reveals who she's a human.
Yeah.
And it basically just picking apart everything Power Rangers has always done. It's like, why did the Zords have googly eyes sometimes? Oh, they're optical sensors. What's with the spandex? It's not spandex. Which, it's fun fact.
Uh-huh.
It's never been spandex.
Really?
Yep. It's always like, I mean, it's like a
stretchy
microfiber suit, but like most of the time they have like a super thick white, like just like padding everywhere, and then it's that over it. So like you think you might get cold in a Ranger suit, but like the real ones, they always said you burn up because it's basically wearing a sweater, or like a body pillow from head to toe.
Good.
Yeah, but her whole story, like, I don't know how I thought about it the first time I ever seen it, but like, you'd have to be really stupid to not know Dylan's sister was Tenaya the whole time.
Oh, yeah, no. I got it.
I will say, because like, they changed directions with how they wanted to. I assume Tenaya 7 wasn't, from the get-go, Dylan's sister.
Well, she was
about halfway through.
She was always supposed to be his sister, whether or not that was real.
Okay, right.
It was like, yeah, it might have been fake memories in him, but, or in this case now, they're real.
That arc seemed rushed. Her arc, the end part. Where it's like, now I'm Dylan's sister, and now I remember shit, and now I don't remember shit again, and now I remember shit again.
Well, it was like because they got rid of the Vinjex virus.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I guess it's rushed because they need to finish up that arc, but like...
It's like they decided to do the arc too late to be able to do it right.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that arc's been there since the very beginning. He says, I want to see my sister, and then, there's another half-human, half-robot person with also black hair who sings one cryptic song over and over again. I wonder if they're related. Like... But I could see how like parts of it were rushed, like by the end, and then some of her interactions were weird, like when she's just standing there and waves. But like I've never been a half robot human slave, so I don't know how I would react to finally accepting my humanity. But yeah, Vinjex, who at the beginning he's just a Doctor Who villain.
Yeah. 100%.
But like, I mean, I'm okay with that. And then by the end of it, you like finally realize, wait. He's killed by whatever they keep saying, like upped percentages of how many actual humans he has just killed. Which another thing people had been talking about, like villains in Power Rangers have killed more like pure numbers, but never pure human numbers. So like it's like a weird visceral feeling where you're like, oh, this is the apocalypse.
You go.
Oh, I was just gonna mention like. and every fucking Vinjix wins every time he fucking downloads the full size robot a little bit. Like, how much fucking damage went to that city? Like, Jesus Christ.
That would have been a really cool episode. Like,
repair time?
Like, no, maybe combat, like, at the very, very beginning, and the rest of it's like, we have cities to build again.
I really liked his final form. They with an homage to Sun Wukong.
Okay.
You didn't see that?
No.
Oh no, because he had the monkey beard. He had the
I mean, that's
cudgel.
what was it? Shifter, one of his generals. Like it was just like a reverse black and gold version of Shifter with like bigger stuff.
Yeah, but he was like he looked more like I saw it and I was like, I know what that's from.
Okay.
That's like I didn't see it I didn't think of it when you mentioned it, or before you mentioned it. But thinking about it, it looks like most renditions of Sun Wukong. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I don't know who the original villain in Goanjar was supposed to simulate, but like that Vinjex's symbol is just a kanji. I don't know what it means. I should have looked it up, but like didn't even think about it. But like, so it Goanjar.
Sun Wu kanji.
Moving on.
I fucking hate all of you. Side B's over.
You heard it here first, folks. Final episode. Say goodbye.
All right.
And now for the community segment. No.
2 quick facts before we move on to the community segment. What? Stop. I don't want to edit this. Okay. God. Okay. The Jungle Karma Pizza joint scene in Ranger Green when Ziggy and Fresno Bob are doing their mob thing at a pizza joint. It's the hangout for Jungle Fury's Rangers. And the Purple Ranger in that one owns the Jungle Karma Pizza.
That's cool.
Which, you gave a weird look, Seth. The Purple Ranger was the mentor of the Jungle Fury Rangers until he became the Purple Wolf Ranger.
Well, I was thinking, because it's confirmed that it's in an alternate universe, it's weird that's...
It's a different place, like... Yeah, it's a different place. It's 100% different place. Like, the location is completely different. It just happens to have the same name and logo.
Does the Purple Wolf Ranger have something to do with Mystic Force?
No.
No?
It's just...
Because there's a guy in it who... He looks like a ranger, and but he's the E's.
Not Rygar. Something like that.
Yeah, but...
I mean, that's...
He looks like a ranger, he's purple, and he uses a wolf attack.
He's a ranger.
I know. Like, I figured that out.
There's like 100 different Red Hawks. There's a million different Red Lions.
That's fair.
It's just...
I just wanted to... You said Purple Wolf.
It's all Morphin Grid. It's all Morphin Grid. Yeah. It's just color, life form together. Sometimes.
Black Elephant.
Yeah. Then last...
Wild Force was cool. They had an armadillo.
All right.
Kind of. They had an armadillo.
We'll get there. Maybe we'll watch Wild Force sometime.
I don't think so.
Probably not for a while. I'm out of Power Rangers for a bit.
The last fun fact, Danger and Destiny Part 2, the very last episode, possibly until Saban bought it back a year later, that was going to be the very last episode of Power Rangers ever.
That was the worst way to end it. With that sentiment in mind.
Disney didn't give a shit.
Well, I know.
Yeah, but like for a time, people thought that was going to be the last episode, and it was apparently the 700th episode of Power Rangers ever.
Oh, nice! Like nice even 700.
Yeah,
nice.
Fuck it, they should have actually called it.
No, I mean,
they can't make more money, Seth. Come on.
All right, if they ended at exactly 1,000, no.
Then you'll be happy. I don't get where this is going.
If we could skip
an episode moment,
if we could erase Samurai and Megaforce from the universe, maybe. But like, there's some other. It's got potential. Still.
The Samurai Ranger was there for the big Red Ranger team up.
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing I think I skipped over.
That the RPM Red Ranger wasn't in it. That the RPM Red Ranger wasn't it?
What do you?
Or was that before?
What? The season after RPM was Samurai.
Okay.
And most seasons have a crossover with the previous team. RPM didn't, for obvious reasons, story-wise.
Right.
But like most times, if they don't have it, it's 100% due to money. They don't want to ship or send the actors back out.
Yeah.
Pay for their flight or whatever else. Or paychecks. But then... in Samurai, they had a crossover episode with RPM where it's revealed in show that it's a different universe. For some reason, the gear guy with the Dr. Seuss pipe, that general from Vinjex, for some reason he gets on a train that then teleports him to the real universe, which is where the rest of the team is. And then, which there's a bunch of holes later on because then RPM Rangers do come back later, but like it's a whole thing. But for this one, they come back. Scott chases him, but he's only in suit because canonically he doesn't know if his atmosphere is the same as our universe's atmosphere. So he knows if he keeps a suit on the whole time, he will be able to breathe
it's
through
just not
the
the
suit.
same actor, right?
Well, no, it was the same actor. He was in America at the time. They said, we're not sending you to New Zealand. And he's like, I'm not paying myself to go to New Zealand. So they're like, fine, we'll get someone in the suit and you just do voiceover at this LA studio. And so he just did the normal Power Rangers voiceover. But then it was just him as the Red Ranger suited up.
Yeah.
But then another thing about that is between him being in RPM and being in Samurai, he had joined the Screen Actors Guild, and Power Rangers hates working with those people because they have standards and can't treat their employees like shit. So he said, I want to do this, and then they're like, but we're not paying you under the Screen Actors Guild's thing. So he's like, okay. So he created a different name, and he's credited as Scott Truman, but as a different actor. But it was still the same actor.
Okay, gotcha.
Right, and then that's it for our fun facts. But
our trivias.
Yeah. As real quick final wrap up thoughts that we had before going into the final topic. Just Hunter.
Yeah, you
can say it sucks all you want.
This discussion has changed my mind slightly. Still overarching, think it sucks. But this has given me a new light to look at it, and I appreciate that. I'm still standing with it's not a good Power Ranger.
Okay,
I'll take that.
I'll take that. I mean,
that's where
I
I'm
think
gonna
it's
leave
a good show. I think you're insinuating it's not a good show, whether it's a good Power Ranger show or not. But like, we'll go there. I think that's related to Seth's ideas of it. But like,
yeah, but it's weird to me that I didn't enjoy watching it when I actively enjoyed 90% of the decisions that were made. It's like, I see what you're doing here, and this is great, but like, I don't want to watch this. I don't know why. It's just how it was.
I mean, Power Rangers cheese and like just the tokusatsu schlock in general is like hard to get through if you've not literally seen it every single day of your life.
Yeah.
But just my final thoughts. This is rewatching it. Definitely, I want to go back and rewatch like most of the seasons I remember fondly again, trying to like with the same critical eye.
Yeah.
But right now, this is definitely my favorite season of Power Rangers. And like, I don't know if I want them to do another season like it, but I'm really glad this one exists. And then onto our community segment. This one's going to be a little bit different because we still have no community to talk about.
Right.
But, we're free and willing to listen.
Yeah, for sure.
For official side B, at official side B.
Official side B.
All right. And then what else were you saying?
If you guys want to like actually hop in and talk with us, we do have a Twitch chat. Like outright, we'll
Is it linked in the description?
It will be linked in the description.
Okay. We really need to change the default one to just always the link.
We need to change that.
But this one, it's going to be basically stealing another segment from the thing that whatever shouted us out. Wanted to shout out the Toku Roundup guys because they gave us a shout out last month for our Kamen Rider video. Listen to a couple of their podcasts. Pretty cool guys.
They're very passionate.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I fall right into their conversations, but I don't think anyone else can.
No.
But yeah. Final thoughts of the show. What was our dope ass shit? I've got two very specific ones. I don't know if we want to.
Okay, I know Hunter's is broad, and I have one specific one.
Yeah, that's why I said it. So I don't know.
So I'm gonna say mine just in case I steal one of your two.
Yes.
Okay. The old guy in the desert when he's like, "Are you two military?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure." He's like, "I'll distract him." They're like, "Don't fucking do it." And then he does it, and he kicks ass. He fights like 7 of the grinders. He's like a 90-year-old dude
with his hands bound, by the way.
Yeah, like he was a badass. He should have been the Power Ranger. He should have been the Green Ranger.
They did. I was trying to think if they've ever had an old man Power Ranger, and they did a couple times. In one of the latest seasons, they had like a guy older than that being a Power Ranger
Wow.
for one episode.
Damn.
And he gave it to someone else. But
I mean, Tom in Dino Thunder, Tommy, being the Black Ranger, he's
like,
an over the hill ranger at that point.
30.
Yeah, well,
This guy was pushing 80, and the guy in I think it's Dino Charge Season 2 is like the same 80, maybe 50, but an old 50. But I don't, Hunter, if you want to do your broad one.
I mean, it was like because I said it earlier, it was Tanaya 7. She was my dope ass shit, just like ragging on everyone the whole time. But one thing that I thought was actually like really cool was the first time that all 12 of the Zords combined. That was pretty dope.
Oh, that was another not a fun fact.
But I will have to say, like, the suit that because we all know that it's a person in a suit being a Zord. The suit looked so awkward and cumbersome. I remember him doing a kick, and like there was so much extra foot with the kick. It looked so ridiculous. But I mean, that was one of the coolest parts of the show.
I think that started a trend for a few seasons where they had like the kind of modular arm changes and then turns into another Zord, but then eventually they all combined to like 12 or 15 Zords together. That was like, I think they did it for 3 more seasons after that, and all of the fans call that the clusterfuck mode. So it's like, that's the RPM clusterfuck mode Zord. And then, my two, just real quick, I think I said it before, but that episode, I think it was Seth you were talking about, I think it was Heroes Among Us.
I don't remember names.
I think it was that one, because like everyone talks about that episode. It's such a good episode. If you like it, if you like the story the show's telling, it's such a good episode.
Are you talking about the one with the old guy?
Yeah, the old guy, and then Jim and
Gemma.
No, Jim and Summer, not Summer, Scott. Jim and Scott going out into the desert, like back and forth. But like anyone who likes RPM, that's probably one of their favorite episodes.
That's a pretty good episode.
It's up there. But then, my two, I really wanted to try to find one RPM specific, but like, I just, all of it was like, oh, that's
super Power Ranger movement.
Or it was all just like, when I was trying to find a specific RPM one, it was like, it's just cool overall. I've probably said all of my potential dope ass shit for them all. But like, just the moments that was like, I completely forgot that it had happened watching it again, and then being like, that's something I've never seen in Power Rangers Super Sentai or anything. The first one was when they had, I forget what formation they called it, of the Zords, but they were like, we've got one Megazord combination when they're out in the desert fighting Vengex for the first time, and then Vengex is listening to him the whole time, and it was a bait and switch, and then they're like, oh, well, we have one Megazord, we're gonna walk out, and then turn into the small Zords, and it's like, Eagle Zord launches off of the Lion Zord, and then like another two like drop in. I forget exactly what it was, but then when I think it's Orca Zord, Ziggy's, or no, it's Shark in the Sentai. It's an Orca, but I think they call it a Shark Sword.
There was an Orca in because the big whale one. It wasn't Orca, but it was whale.
Yeah, but it just the Eagle Zord flying, and then getting boosted up by the Yellow Ranger Zord, and then getting hit by the Green Ranger Zord to then do like a whole 360 around Vengex's helicopter, whatever, to destroy it. I completely forgot that moment happened, and I'm kind of glad because I got to experience it for fresh again, but that's something from the Sentai did. And then another one was the same kind of thing, where I think it is Heroes Among Us that it happened. Jim passes his like little rocket blade to Scott, and then Scott throws up his street saber and jumps on it, and then uses that as a rocket power to then do his move, but as a skateboard instead of a sword.
That was really cool. I'm just like, he's riding his sword.
But then those are things that like give props to Go Onger. They'd never attempt in a serious Super Sentai. Yeah, but like that's why people like the comedic Super Sentais, because they play around with some of the ideas that they wouldn't do. And then, I think that's it. So, next month, we're doing Pacific Rim 1 and 2. Uprising? Yep. Okay. Do we want to read the comic book that it came, or that happened right before?
We won't make you do it, but if you do it, let us know.
I have. I'll probably reread it again. So, like, we'll have a couple fun facts from it.
So you can talk it to Billy.
Yeah.
We won't know what's going on.
I think it's so Pacific Rim 1, Pacific Rim, the comic book Year Zero, I think they called it.
Year Zero? That's overplayed.
Something. It's something like that. But then, yeah, Pacific Rim Uprising, the movie just came out on DVD, video, whatever.
I don't think anything's coming out on video anymore.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
What, videotape,
VHS?
VHS. That's not what video means anymore, Hunter. God, what is with you? Always trying to cause problems.
Yeah, that's what I do, man.
But yeah, Pacific Rim is the first of monsters and mechs that we've had.
Yeah.
Like, of true that. And then
So,
I think we've got, we'll talk more about it next episode, but we've got special, maybe 2-part coming up after that.
Oh,
That maybe get excited for.
Woo!
If we have any community pickup from it, maybe guess what it is, and you might get a prize.
Yeah, we've got
We
so
don't
many
know what
prizes.
prize it
You know what? I can guarantee you will get first spot on our community segment of that episode.
How about this? You'll get the replica of Dylan's jacket that Billy's gonna buy.
Oh.
Fuck no. All right, and then our closing segment, or not closing segment, closing bit. We kind of didn't have one last episode. I know.
we did.
There's no happy.
I know what Hunter doesn't want me to do, so I'm just not going to do it.
I mean, just do it.
No, our parting word, or like, comment, subscribe, talk to us, do all that. But our parting words: get in gear. And he touches Marker. You could see like he wanted to cry, but he didn't, because Ziggy's strong now.